Hi students, first of all I welcome you all to my second video on the chapter coordination compounds. In the first video we started the discussion on important terms in coordination chemistry, wherein we discussed the meaning of coordination compound, meaning of central metal ion, ligands. At the same time we started the discussion on classification of ligands. We classified ligands based on the charge possessed by the ligands and also based on the number of donor atoms present in a molecule of ligands. That is what we call denticity. Based on the denticity of a ligand, we classified ligands into monodentate ligands अथवा unidentate ligands, bidentate ligands, and of course polydentate ligands. Now at this moment, we'll start with one more type of ligand, that will be, yes it is, polydentate ligands. One more type of ligands, it will be polydentate ligands. Polydentate ligands, as the name itself indicates, the ligands which contain more than 2 donor atoms per molecule. The ligands which contain more than 2 donor atoms per molecule, they are called as polydentate ligands. As they contain more than 2 donor atoms per molecule, polydentate ligands can donate more than 2 pairs of electrons per molecule during the formation of complexes. Apart from that, these polydentate ligands can form more than 2 coordinate bonds with central metal ion in a complex compound. So that is what we call it as polydentate ligands. Let me give the examples for the polydentate ligands containing 3 donor atoms per molecule, 4 donor atoms per molecule, 5 donor atoms per molecule, so also 6 donor atoms per molecule. So these are the examples that I am giving under the headline polydentate ligands. First of all, we'll see that tridentate ligand, right? That is example for tridentate ligand. It will be diethylene triamine. One of the examples for polydentate ligands. And specifically, it can be classified as tridentate ligand also. And as far as diethylene triamine is concerned, it is characterized by 2 ethylene groups. Ethylene groups is CH2 single bond CH2. This is ethylene group. Diethylene, therefore CH2 single bond CH2, 2 ethylene groups. Triamine, and these 2 groups will be attached to 3 amine groups. NH is one of the amines, that is secondary amine. Remaining, yes, it is in the form of primary amines, that will be NH2 there. Totally 3 amine groups, 2 ethylene groups. Therefore, it is diethylene triamine, abbreviated as diene. Ethylene diamine is abbreviated as EN. In the same manner, diethylene triamine is abbreviated as diene. This is diene. Contains 3 donor atoms. Here it is 1, 2 and 1 more. 3 nitrogen atoms or donor atoms in the molecule of diethylene triamine. Example for polydentate ligand. In the same manner, I'll give, yes, it is one more example for polydentate ligand, and that too tetradentate ligand, that contains 4 donor atoms per molecule, and it will be triethylene tetramine. Triethylene tetramine. 3 ethylene groups, 4 amine groups. That is triethylene tetramine. It is abbreviated as triene. This is one more example for polydentate ligand. And as far as structure is concerned, look at this. 3 ethylene groups are there, yes. CH2 single bond, CH2 there. And one more I can write here, CH2 single bond, CH2. 3 ethylene groups, triethylene, tetramine. Observe here, this is 2 primary amine groups. This is NH2 groups. And remaining 2 will be, yes, it is secondary amine groups. This is NH. And remaining will be, yes, it is secondary amine groups. This is NH, NH, NH2, NH2. 4 nitrogen atoms are there. Each nitrogen is characterized by lone pair of electrons. Therefore, 4 nitrogen atoms capable of donating electron pairs. Therefore, it is another example for polydentate ligand. Triethylene tetramine. Out of 4 amine groups, 2 are primary amines, 2 are secondary amines. So this is what we call it as one more example for polydentate ligands. Apart from that, let me give one example where 5 donor atoms are present in one molecule. And that is also an example for polydentate ligand. And its name is what we call it as ethylene diamine triacetato. This is an example for polydentate ligand, ethylene diamine triacetato. Look at how to write the structure. We have ethylene group, CH2 single bond, CH2, this is ethylene group. Diamine is there, yes it is. 2 NH2 groups are there, that is, yes it is diamine, is it not? This is ethylene diamine. And here it is triacetato, means a molecule contains 3 acetate groups, that is CH3COO minus. This is acetate group. 3 acetate groups are there. Therefore, you just replace hydrogen atoms of the, yes it is amine group, by CH2COO minus. 1 acetate. Second hydrogen is also replaced by another acetate group. Here it is. Third hydrogen is also replaced by one more acetate group. This is ethylene diamine triacetato. In this molecule, we have 2 nitrogen atoms carrying lone pair of electrons and 3 oxygen atoms carrying negative charge. Totally 5 donor atoms. Totally 5 donor atoms per molecule, and it is pentadentate ligand. And of course, this particular ethylene diamine triacetato is represented as HEDTA 3 minus. HEDTA 3 minus. 3 minus is the total negative charge in this molecule. -1, -1 and -1, total -3 there. This H is the hydrogen attached to nitrogen. Why I am writing this H? Because we have one more formula, one more ligand for which we are using EDTA abbreviation. We have one more ligand for which we are using EDTA, ethylene diamine tetraacetato. This T represents tetraacetato here. Here T represents triacetato. To differentiate these two abbreviations, we write H here. If I write H here, T should be triacetato. If H is not there, then T will be tetraacetato. And this is what we call ethylene diamine triacetato. One more example for polydentate ligand. Specifically, it is pentadentate ligand. 2 nitrogen atoms and 3 oxygen atoms carrying negative charge. They are the donor atoms, totally 5 donor atoms. Apart from that, I can give one more example as per your NCERT textbook, that is ethylene diamine tetraacetato. Ethylene diamine tetraacetato, and just you write here we have hydrogen, that can also be replaced by yes, one more acetate group, CS2 C double bond O minus. Just observe now, 2 nitrogen atoms and 4 oxygen atoms carrying negative charge. They are donor atoms. Then it is EDTA 4 minus. This is EDTA 4 minus, ethylene diamine tetraacetato. I am not writing H here because all the 4 hydrogen atoms are replaced by acetato groups, and it can also be written as EDTA. And this is ethylene diamine tetraacetato there. And of course, this is hexadentate ligand. One molecule of this ligand can form 6 coordinate bonds with central metal ion. One molecule of this ligand can form 6 coordinate bonds. The total charge of the ligand is -4. And that is 4 oxygen atoms, they carry -1 charge. Total charge is -4 here. This is polydentate ligand. Agudala. So this is what we call it as polydentate ligands. Now at this moment, as far as classification of ligands are concerned, ligands can also be classified as chelate ligands. This is one more type of ligand, that is chelate ligands. As far as chelate ligands are concerned, chelate ligands are either bidentate ligand or polydentate ligands. This is the primary requirement for chelate ligand. It should be either bidentate ligand or it should be polydentate ligand. And these ligands will form 5 or 6 membered cyclic ring complexes. They form 5 or 6 membered cyclic ring complexes upon forming coordination bond with central metal ion. Chelate ligands are bidentate or polydentate ligands which form 5 or 6 membered cyclic ring complexes upon forming coordination bond with central metal ion. They are called as chelate ligands. For example, if I take this bidentate ligand, that is ethylene diamine, yes, this is ethylene diamine, CH2 single bond CH2 NH2 NH2. This is ethylene diamine. This is bidentate ligand characterized by 2 donor atoms. When it form a coordination bond with central metal ion like M plus N, that is 2 donor atoms are there, therefore it can form 2 coordinate bonds with central metal ion. Upon forming coordination bond with central metal ion, you are going to get 5 membered cyclic ring. That's why ethylene diamine is, yes, it is chelate ligand. Ethylene diamine is chelate ligand. Apart from that, if I take, yes, it is one more bidentate ligand, that is oxalato is one more bidentate ligand. 2 oxygen atoms are donor atoms. When they form coordination bond with central metal ion, you are going to get 5 membered cyclic ring. And of course, therefore, oxalato is also a chelate ligand. You can give any bidentate ligand or polydentate ligand as an example for, yes, it is chelate ligands. And the resulting complex is called chelate. And generally, chelate complexes are relatively more stable. Because of the formation of stable 5 or 6 membered cyclic rings. Now that 5 or 6 membered cyclic rings are relatively more stable, because of that chelate complexes are relatively more stable. That is what we call it as chelates. As I said, you can give any bidentate ligand or polydentate ligand as an example for chelate ligand. What I said, ethylene diamine oxalato, EN, ethylene diamine OX2 minus oxalato, or EDTA minus 4. They are examples for chelating ligands. I am going to write the structure of one chelate complexes that is formed between copper ions and ethylene diamine molecules. Look at this. This is two ethylene diamine molecules are there. Ethylene diamine is there. Two molecules we have. This is, yes, it is one ethylene diamine. These are the donor atoms. They are coordinated to, yes, it is copper there. Yes. One more. Yes, it is ethylene diamine. Yes. This is CH2, CH2, and of course NS2 there. This is one more ethylene diamine that will be attached to the copper there. One ethylene diamine can form 2 bonds. 2 ethylene diamine molecules will form 4 coordinate bonds, and the total charge of the complex is +2, because charge of copper is +2. Ethylene diamine charges to 0. Total charge is 2 plus. This is what we call it as chelate complex. This is called as chelate complex. Okay now? So this is chelating ligands. Apart from that, as far as the ligands are concerned, we have one more kind of ligands. What we call them as ambident ligands. As you know that chelate ligands are basically bidentate or polydentate ligands. But ambident ligands are basically monodentate ligands. These ambident ligands are basically monodentate ligands. Even though they are monodentate ligands, they contain more than one donor atom in their molecules. Ambident ligands are monodentate ligands containing more than one donor atoms in their molecules. Even though they contain more than one donor atoms, only one donor atom will be involved in coordination bond formation at a time. Even though the ligand contains more than one donor atoms, only one donor atom takes part in the formation of coordination bond with central metal ion at a time. So that is what we call it as ambident ligands. So therefore, ambident ligands are monodentate ligands containing more than one donor atoms, coordinates to the central metal ion through one donor atom at a time. So that is what we call it as ambident ligands. So that is what we call ambident ligands. I'll give many examples for the ambident ligands, like NO2 minus, SCN minus, another is CN minus. NO2 minus, SCN minus and CN minus, they are examples for monodentate ligands. Why this NO2 minus is, yes, it is ambident ligand. They are all monodentate ligand, but they are characterized by more than one donor atoms in their molecules. NO2 minus characterized by nitrogen and oxygen atoms as donor atoms. But NO2 minus will form coordination bond with central metal ion through either nitrogen or oxygen at a time. Because look at this NO2 minus can be written like this. This is NO2 minus. Nitrogen and oxygen, they are the donor atoms. If nitrogen takes part in coordination bonding oxygen doesn't. Look at this. If nitrogen takes part in coordination bonding with central metal ion, oxygen doesn't participate in coordination bonding. This is nitro there. And similarly, if oxygen takes part in coordination bonding, here this is also NO2 minus, is it not? Here nitrogen is taken part in coordination bonding but not oxygen. If oxygen takes part in coordination bonding with central metal ion, then nitrogen doesn't. Like that, ambident ligands or monodentate ligands containing more than one donor atoms coordinates to the metal ion through only one donor atom at a time. It coordinates to the central metal ion through only one donor atom at a time. If nitrogen takes part in coordination bonding, oxygen doesn't. If oxygen takes part in coordination bonding, nitrogen doesn't. So this is what we call ambident ligand. In order to differentiate the type of donor atom in a molecule of ambident ligand, we use different names and different representations. And if I write NO2 minus, it means that in this case nitrogen is a donor atom. Therefore, its name is nitrito N. N is a symbol of the donor atom. If oxygen takes part in coordination bonding, we represent that ambident ligand by using the formula ONO minus. Then for this representation, we have a name that is nitrito O. O is a symbol of the donor atom, is of NO2 minus. Like that, in order to differentiate type of donor atom involved in coordination bonding, we use different representations in the formula of the complex and also different names, right? So this is what we call ambident ligands. Similarly, we have SCN minus, is it not? If I write SCN minus, this is, yes, it is thiocyanate. If sulfur takes part in coordination bonding, nitrogen doesn't. If I write SCN minus as a representation of this ligand, then it means that sulfur is a donor atom, nitrogen is not, and its name is thiocyanate. Yes, it is yes. Thiocyanate yes is the name of this ligand. If sulfur is acting like a donor atom. If nitrogen takes part in acetyl coordination bonding, we represent the ligand like NCS minus. Nitrogen is a, yes, it is donor atom. Nitrogen is donating electron pairs to the central metal ion. Then its name is, yes, it is thiocyanate. Yes, it is N. Thiocyanate N anta baritheevi name anna. Hagagi for ambident ligands, in order to differentiate the type of donor atom attached to the central metal ion, we use different representations and different names. And that is thiocyanate S. Here, sulfur is a donor atom. Thiocyanate N. Here, nitrogen is a donor atom. Or I can say, this will be thiocyanate, or it will be isothiocyanate, that is. Isothiocyanate. This is the different names used. Similarly, if I say Cn minus, one more ambident ligand, carbon and nitrogen atoms are the donor atom. If carbon takes part in coordination bonding, nitrogen doesn't, then its name is cyano. This is the representation of cyano, where carbon is a donor atom. If nitrogen is taken part in coordination bonding with the central metal ion, its name is isocyano. Isocyano, yes. So here nitrogen is taken part in coordination bonding. So this is what we call it as ambident ligands. So therefore, ambident ligands are monodentate ligands containing more than one donor atoms coordinates to the metal ion through one donor atom at a time. So that is what we call it as ambident ligands. So this is what we call classification of, yes, it is ambident ligands. If you are asked to write the examples for the acetics ambident ligands, simply you write NO2 minus, SCN minus and Cl minus. Now at this moment, we'll talk about one more important term that you are supposed to know. That will be, yes, it is coordination sphere. Coordination sphere and ionization sphere. These are the two more terms that we need to know as far as coordination compounds are concerned. Yes. As far as coordination compounds are concerned, they are characterized by two parts in their molecules. One is coordination sphere, another is ionization sphere. This coordination sphere is non-ionizable part of the complex. This is non-ionizable part of the complex. Ionization sphere is ionizable part of the complex. Because generally, complexes are characterized by two parts. One, it will be coordination sphere, another is ionization sphere. As I said, coordination sphere, also known as coordination entity. This is non-ionizable part of the complex, means this part of the complex does not dissociate in water, whereas ionization sphere dissociates in water. And this particular coordination sphere is characterized by ligands attached to the central metal ion through coordination bonds. Non-ionizable part of the complex in which ligands are attached to the central metal ion through coordination bonds, and that is what we call it as coordination sphere. That means coordination bonds cannot be broken in water. Because of that, coordination sphere is non-ionizable part. For example, if I take this as an example, K4 FeCN6 times potassium ferrocyanide. This is a complex. In this complex, Cn minus ions are the ligands, Fe2 plus ions are the acidic central metal ion. Ligands are attached to the central metal ion through coordination bonds, and therefore this is we call it as coordination sphere. This is coordination sphere of the complex. Look at this, one more part of the complex which is written outside the square bracket. Coordination sphere is written inside the square bracket, and the one which is written outside the square bracket is called ionization sphere. This particular part of the complex will be ionized when it is dissolved in water. Therefore, when potassium ferrocyanide is dissolved in water, it dissociates to produce 4K plus ions and ferrocyanide ion. This is FeCN6 times. Yes, it is 4 minus. This is what we call it as dissociation of potassium ferrocyanide. This particular part in this complex will not be dissociated in water because this will be characterized by coordinate bonds which will not be broken in water. So this is what we call ferrocyanide, and this is K plus ion. And this particular components present in the ionization sphere, they are also called as counter ions, because these ions are going to balance the charge possessed by the coordination sphere. The total charge of this coordination sphere is -4. Look at this. Total charge of the coordination sphere is -4. That will be balanced by 4K plus ions. Now, why the charge of this complex is -4 ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, because charge of iron is +2, charge of cyanide is -1. You know the charge of cyanide, that is -1. 6 cyano groups are there, +2 minus 6, and it will be -4. This will be the charge of the acidic coordination sphere. That will be balanced by the 4K plus ions. So this is what we call it as ionization sphere. Similarly, if I take one more example, that is Cu NH3 4 times, and of course SO4. This is one more complex. Just observe the one which is written inside the square bracket, Cu NH3 4 times, 4 ligands attached to the central metal ion through coordinate bonds. Therefore, this will be the coordination sphere, and the one which is written outside, one which is written outside the square bracket, this is ionic sphere. When it is dissolved in water, it dissociates to produce Cu NH3 4 times, and of course 2 plus. Then it will be SO4 2 minus. Why the charge of this ion is plus 2? Because charge of copper is plus 2, charge of ammonia is 0, 4 ammonia molecules are there, total will be less, it is plus 2. To balance this plus 2 charge, we need one sulfate ion that carries minus 2 charge. Therefore, plus 2 of the coordination sphere is balanced by minus 2 of the sulfate. Therefore, there is one sulfate, this is counter ion there. And of course, whenever you are writing complexes, the formula of the complexes, positive part should be written first. This is positive part that carries positive charge, and negative part will be written next. This is sulfate carrying negative charge. Look at in the earlier example, we wrote like this, K4 FeCN 6 times, because potassium constitutes positive part of the complex. Ferrocyanide constitutes negative part of the complex, because charge of this coordination sphere is minus 4 and the charge of potassium is plus 1, and therefore this is positive part, this is negative part. Therefore positive part will be written first, negative part will be written next. So this is what we call it as coordination sphere and ionic sphere. Yes, this is what we call it as coordination sphere and ionic sphere. Now at this moment, I am going to take up one more important term, that is oxidation number of central metal ion. Oxidation number of central metal ion. Oxidation number of central metal ion refers to the charge possessed by the central metal ion in the complex. Oxidation number of central metal ion is a charge possessed by the central metal ion in its complex, that is called as oxidation number. You can determine the oxidation number of the central metal ion, that is by knowing the charges possessed by the ligands and the remaining ions. If you want to calculate the oxidation number of central metal ion, you should know the charges possessed by the ligands there and other ions in the molecule. For example, if I take this K4 FeCN 6 times, this is one complex. I want to know the oxidation number of iron, that is central metal ion, and let it be X as you did in first PUC. And charge possessed by Cn is minus 1. How many ligands are there? 6. And potassium, its charge is, yes, it is plus 1. How many K plus ions are there? Yes, it is 4. Charge of potassium is plus 1, 4 potassium atoms. Charge of iron is X and charge of cyanide is minus 1, 6 are there, is equal to 0 because the total charge of the complex is 0. Therefore, X is equal to plus 2. Simplify madre, minus 6 plus 4, X minus 2 equals 0 agate. Therefore, X is equal to plus 2, that is oxidation number of iron there. Yes, this is how you can calculate the oxidation number of central metal ion. Apart from that, if I take this Cu NH3 4 times, SO4 anta tagondre, this is one more complex. Let me decide the oxidation number of copper. It is X there. Charge of ammonia is 0. 4 ammonia molecules are there. Charge of sulfate is minus 2. Total charge of the complex is 0. That is what we call the equation here. Then X is equal to what? Plus 2. Therefore, oxidation number of copper is plus 2 there. Or you can say, if I take this complex, Fe, C2O4 3 times, and of course 3 minus, ಇದು ಒಂದು complex. ಹೌದಾ? ಇದು ಕೂಡ complex that carries negative charge. ಹೌದಾ? Here, X is the oxidation number of central metal atom. Charge of oxalato, ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, C2O4 2 minus. Charge of oxalato is minus 2 into 3. that's equal to charge of the complex is minus 3. Illi equal to 0 ತಗೊಂಡಿದೆ. ಯಾಕೆ? Charge of the complex is 0. Illi equal to minus 3 because charge of the complex is minus 3 there. Therefore, x is equal to plus 3 there. ನೋಡಿ, simplify ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ x is equal to plus 3 ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ oxidation number of central metal ion is plus 3 here. Apart from that, we'll give some more examples so that you can learn calculating oxidation number of central metal ions. For example, if I say CO, then it is NH3 2 times and NO2 S 2 times, and it is En, and its charge is, yes, it is plus 1 ಅಂತ ತಗೋತೀನಿ. ಇದೊಂದು ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ಪ. ಓಕೆನಾ? 2 ammonia molecules, 2 nitro groups and 1 ethylene diamine. ಹೌದಾ? And of course, oxidation number of cobalt X ಅಂತ ತಗೋತೀನಿ. Ammonia charges to 0, 2 ammonia molecules. Nitro, charge of nitro group is minus 1, 2 nitro groups are there. Ethylene diamine, neutral ligand. ಹೌದಾ? The ligands, the charge possessed by the neutral ligands is 0, and total charge of the complex is plus 1. Therefore, x is equal to minus 2 ಈ ಕಡೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ plus 2 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. That will be plus 3. Oxidation number of central metal atom cobalt is plus 3 here. If I take this as a complex, that is AuCl4 minus ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಇದೊಂದು ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. If you want to decide the oxidation number of gold, let it be X. Chloride O minus 1. How many are there? 4. That's equal to minus 1. Charge of the complex. Therefore, X is equal to plus 3. So this is how you are supposed to decide what we call it as oxidation numbers of central metal ion. Oxidation number of central metal ion is the charge possessed by the central metal ion in its complex. Oxidation number of central metal ion can be calculated by knowing the charges possessed by the ligands and other ions present in a molecule of complex. So that is what we call it as calculation of oxidation number. And if you know the oxidation number of central metal ion and the charge possessed by the ligands, then you can decide the net charge possessed by the coordination sphere. So what we write generally, Fe Cn 6 times 4 minus ಅಂತ ಬರೀತೀವಿ. Why there is a 4 minus here? Because oxidation number of iron is plus 2 as we calculated. Charge of cyanide is minus 1. 6 ions are there. Therefore, plus 2 minus 6, that's equal to minus 4. And in the complex Cu, NH3 4 times, we write 2 plus here. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ charge of oxidation number of copper is plus 2 as we calculated. Charge of ammonia is 0, 4 ammonia molecules. Therefore, net is plus 2. The charge possessed by the coordination sphere is the algebraic sum of the charges possessed by the central metal ion and ligands. Minus 4 is algebraic sum of the charges possessed by central metal ion and ligands. Similarly, if I take this Fe C2O4 thrice ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, what is the charge of this ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, what is the charge of the coordination sphere ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, charge of iron is plus 3 as we calculated. Oxalate minus 2. How many are there? 3. Minus 6 plus 3, that's equal to minus 3. So therefore, the charge of this coordination sphere is minus 3 there. As you know that in the case of AuCl4 times, we write the charge as minus 1 because oxidation number of gold is plus 3. Chloride O minus 1. 4 are there. That's equal to minus 1. Therefore, it is charged like this. So this is how you can decide what we call it as charges possessed by, yes, it is the coordination sphere there. The charge possessed by the coordination sphere is algebraic sum of the charges possessed by central metal ion and ligands. So this is one more important aspect that I wanted to highlight. Agudala, ataktiದೆ ತಾನೆ? Yes. Now at this moment, we'll go to the next important term, that is coordination number there. Yes. Now let us see one more important term that we come across in coordination chemistry, that is coordination number. Coordination number refers to the number of coordinate bonds formed between central metal ion and ligands in a given complex. Number of coordinate bonds between central metal ion and ligands, that is called as coordination number. Generally, that ligand will be attached to the central metal ion through coordinate bonds. The number of coordinate bonds between central metal ion and ligand in a given complex is called as coordination number. So for example, that is in the case of K4 Fe CN6, this is one complex. And what is the coordination number of Fe2 plus? The central metal ion is Fe2 plus. Let me decide the coordination number of Fe2 plus here, right? Look at this. This Fe2 plus is attached to 6 Cn minus ions. And Cn minus ions are monodentate ligands. Each Cn minus ion will form one coordinate bond with central metal ion. Totally 6 Cn minus ions are there. Therefore, 6 Cn minus ions will form 6 coordinate bonds with central metal ion. Therefore, coordination number of Fe2 plus is equal to, yes, it is 6 here. And one thing you have to remember here, Fe2 plus 2 plus is a charge possessed by the central metal ion. This is number of coordinate bonds between Fe2 plus and Cn minus ions. That is 6 is the coordination number. Fe2 plus is that is charge possessed by the central metal ion. And apart from that, if I take this example, that is CO En thrice Cl3. This is one more complex. Central metal ion is cobalt, right? Central metal ion is cobalt. Oxidation number of cobalt is 3 here. Therefore, that is coordination number of cobalt 3 plus. 3 plus is the oxidation number of cobalt. But I want coordination number. Look at this. Cobalt is attached with ethylene diamine molecules. Ethylene diamine molecules are bidentate ligands. Each bidentate ligand will form 2 coordinate bonds with central metal ion. 3 ethylene diamine molecules will form 6 bonds. Hagagi 2 coordinate bonds by each ligand into 3, that is equal to 6. That is, this is the coordination number of cobalt 3 plus here. If all the ligands are monodentate ligands, then you don't find any difficulty of deciding coordination number, because that is number of monodentate ligands is equal to the number of coordinate bonds, that is coordination number. And if bidentate and tridentate ligands are present, then you have to be very careful in deciding coordination number. Ethylene diamine is bidentate. Ethylene diamine molecules will form 2 coordinate bonds. 3 ethylene diamine molecules together form 6 coordinate bonds. This is coordination number of cobalt 3 plus here. Apart from that, look at this. This is Na3 Fe C2O4 3 times. This is one more complex. Oxidation number of iron is plus 3 here. Therefore, that is coordination number of, yes, it is Fe3 plus is equal to number of ligands will be 3. And the ligands are bidentate. Each ligand will form 2 coordinate bonds. 3 bidentate ligands will form 6 coordinate bonds. That is 2 into 3. That's equal to 6 here. Coordination number of Fe3 plus is 6 here. Now let us see one more example, that is, if I say this is cobalt, yes, it is NS3, right, twice, then it is Cl2, and of course ethylene diamine. This is, yes, it is one more, yes, it is complex. Cobalt, NS3 twice, Cl2, and of course ethylene diamine. Look at this, here there is a complex where there is a combination of, yes, it is different ligands you can find. Then what is the coordination number of, yes, it is central metal ion, yes, it is CO3 plus, because oxidation number of cobalt in this complex is plus 3 there. If you want, you can calculate. Look at this. Here, ammonia is a monodentate, chlorido is a monodentate, 4 monodentate ligands are there, and each monodentate ligand will form one bond. Therefore, 4 coordinate bonds from 4 monodentate ligands. Ethylene diamine is a bidentate. One ligand is there. Each ligand will form 2 coordinate bonds. Therefore, it is 2 from ethylene diamine. Therefore, total it will be 6 here. Yes, this is one more example. Apart from that, if I take this Cu there, Cu, NH3 4 times, and of course SO4 and the one, right? This is one more complex. What is the coordination number of copper 2 plus and the new question matter? That is coordination number of copper 2 plus is equal to, look at this, 4 monodentate ligands and they form 4 coordinate bonds. That's equal to, yes, it is 4 is a coordination number here. If I take this as an example, Na2 Ni EDTA, this is one more complex. Na2 Ni EDTA, right? Alba. So this is, look at this, nickel is a central metal ion. Nickel is a central metal ion. Avada? And this nickel is attached to the EDTA, ethylene diamine tetracetate. This is hexadentate ligand. One molecule of hexadentate ligand will form 6 bonds. Therefore, coordination number of, yes, it is Ni plus 2. This is oxidation number of nickel is plus 2 here. That's equal to 6 here, right? This is the coordination number of nickel plus 2 in this complex is 6 there. Like that, you can easily decide the coordination number by counting number of coordinate bonds formed between central metal ion and ligands. So this is what we call coordination number. And this coordination number has got its own significance as far as complexes are concerned. This coordination number can be used to determine geometry of the complexes. This coordination number can be used to determine geometry of the complexes, because geometry of the complexes depends on number of coordinate bonds around the central metal ion in a complex. If the coordination number is 6, the geometry will be octahedral. If the coordination number is 4, geometry will be either square planar or tetrahedral. If the coordination number is 5, geometry will be either trigonal, bipyramidal or square pyramidal. So this is what we call it as significance of coordination number. And generally, students will ask some questions with respect to the coordination number, or you can say that the number of ligands attached to the central metal ion. The questions will be generally like this. Most of the students will ask me like that. Why iron 2 plus is attached to only 6 ligands here? Why not 4? Why not 5? Why not 3? Like that they ask questions. Why cobalt is attached to only 3 ethylene diamine molecules in this complex? Or I can say, in the case of the complex like FeCO 5 times, this is one more complex where 5 carbon monoxide molecules attached to the central metal atom, iron, through coordinate bonds. Why there are only 5 ligands? Or you can say, in the case of, yes, it is chromium, 6 carbon monoxide molecules will be attached to the central metal atom. Or you can say, in the case of K2, yes, it is Zn OH 4 times here, 4 OH minus ions, that is hydroxido ligands attached to the Zn plus 2. Why there are only 4 ligands? Generally, students will ask the questions like that. And how to decide the number of ligands attached to the central metal ion? And of course, the main reason behind it is stability aspects. Every complex, every substance, every molecule in nature will try to attain stability. Or you can say everything in the universe is always heading towards stability, is it not? So also here, the complexes will be, in the complexes, central metal ion will be attached to the fixed number of ligands in order to attain stability only. If iron 2 plus is attached to 6 ligand, then it will get stability. Because of that, 6 ligands will be attached to the Fe2 plus in this complex. In this complex, 4 OH minus ions are attached to the Zn plus 2, then Zn plus 2 will get stability. Like that you can explain. But there are some theories that I can make use of in order to decide number of ligands attached to the central metal ion. One such theory is what we call it as effective atomic number rule anta ಒಂದು theory ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Of course, this is not true in all the cases. Some complexes will obey effective atomic number rule. Some complexes do not obey effective atomic number rule. ಮೊದಲೇ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಓಕೆನಾ? ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಈ effective atomic number rule ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, in the case of complexes, central metal ion is electron pair acceptor, ligands are electron pair donors. You know that. This central metal ion will continue to accept the electrons donated by the ligands till total number of electrons in it becomes equal to the atomic number of nearest noble gas. The central metal ion in a complex will continue to accept the electrons donated by the ligands till the total number of electrons in it becomes equal to the atomic number of the nearest noble gas. As far as noble gases, they are known for stability. Helium, neon, argon, krypton, acids, xenon, like that we have different noble gases, is it not? Atomic number of helium is 2, neon is 10, argon is 18, krypton is 36, xenon is 54, radon is 86. This is atomic number here. The total number of electrons in central metal ion of the given complex should be equal to the atomic number of, yes it is, the nearest noble gas. In the case of iron, there are 26 electrons. In the case of iron atom, 26 electrons are there because atomic number of iron is 26. Iron is in the form of plus 2 state, is it not? Iron is in the form of plus 2 state. Therefore, in order to attain plus 2 state, it loses 2 electrons. So, number of electrons in iron plus 2 will be 24 item. Then 6 Cn minus ions will donate 12 electrons because each ligand donates 2 electrons, one pair of electron. 6 ligands together donate 12 electrons. Therefore, 26 minus 2 plus 12, that's equal to 36. This is the atomic number of krypton. Iron plus 2 in this complex will continue to accept the electrons donated by the ligands till the total number of electrons in it becomes equal to the atomic number of krypton there. That's why iron plus 2 is coordinated to 6 ligands. In the case of cobalt, atomic number of cobalt is 27. So number of electrons in cobalt will be 27. Oxidation number of cobalt is plus 3 in this complex. Therefore, cobalt is going to lose 3 electrons. In order to convert cobalt into cobalt 3 plus, that cobalt has to lose 3 electrons. That is out of 27 electrons, cobalt has lost 3 electrons. Then number of electrons in cobalt 3 plus becomes equal to 24. 3, yes it is, ligands are there. Ethylene diamine is what? Bidentate ligand. Therefore, each bidentate ligand will donate 2 pairs of electrons. 4 electrons. 3 ligands are there. Therefore, 12 electrons. Therefore, total number of electrons becomes equal to the 36. That's why cobalt is forming coordinate bonds with, yes it is, 3 ethylene diamine molecules. Look at this in this example. Look at the central metal atom. That is Zn there. Atomic number of Zn is 30. Atomic number of zinc is 30. And oxidation number of zinc in this complex is plus 2. Therefore, it is going to lose 2 electrons to attain plus 2 state. And now number of electrons in Zn plus 2 will be 28. Each OH minus ion will contribute 2 electrons. Therefore, 4 ligands will together contribute, yes it is 8 electrons. That will be 36. Look at this in this case, right? Oxidation number of iron in this case is that is 0. The number of electrons in iron will be 26. And of course, each ligand will contribute 2 electrons. 5 ligands together contribute, yes, it is 10 electrons. So therefore 10 plus 26 is equal to 36. Iron has already got 26 electrons. Oxidation number of iron in the complex is 0, 26. If it gains 10 electrons from 5 ligands, then it will get the total number of electrons in it becomes equal to 36, the atomic number of nearest noble gas. That's why Fe is coordinated to 5 ligands. Look at this. Atomic number of chromium is 24. 24 electrons are there. Oxidation number of chromium is 0 here. Now we have 24 electrons in chromium. In order to attain 36 electrons, this chromium has to be bonded to 6 ligands, and each ligand will contribute 2 electrons, and therefore 2 into 6, 12 from 6 ligands. 12 plus 24, that becomes equal to 36. And therefore chromium will be attached to 6 ligands here. Like that, you can take a decision. That is what we call it as coordination number. And in most of the complexes, as far as your plus 2 level is concerned, that is coordination number will be generally either 4 or 6. So for an NPT company. In most of the complexes, the coordination number of central metal ion is either 4 or 6. So this is what we call it as coordination number. Now at this moment, we'll take up one more, yes, it is a term as far as important terms in, yes, it is coordination chemistry is concerned. It will be coordination polyhedron. Coordination polyhedron. This is one more term. So, or you can say this is geometry of the complexes. That coordination polyhedron refers to the geometry of the complexes. Geometry of the complexes depends on what? Arrangement of ligands around the central metal ion in space. Geometry of the complexes depends on what? Arrangement of the ligands around the central metal ion in space. Or you can say that geometry or coordination polyhedron depends on the arrangement of coordination bonds around the central metal ion in space. So that is what we call coordination polyhedron. Or you can say coordination polyhedron refers to the spatial arrangement of ligands attached to the central metal ion. Coordination polyhedron refers to the spatial arrangement of the ligands attached to the central metal ion in a given complex. Now that is spatial arrangement. S-P-A-T-I-A-L. That is arrangement of the ligands in space. Depending upon the number of ligands attached to the central metal ion, we have different polyhedron for different types of complexes. Or you can say, depending upon the number of coordinate bonds around the central metal ion, different complexes have got different geometries. Let me give you the different polyhedrons possible for complexes. Most of the complexes will have the polyhedron like octahedral geometry and tetrahedral geometry there. Okay, now we'll see the geometries of different complexes, right? Look here, different possible polyhedron as far as the complexes are concerned. Look here, this is a complex where M is a central metal atom or ion surrounded by 6 ligands. L represents ligands. Now then, there are 6 coordinate bonds around the central metal ion. Out of 6 coordinate bonds, 4 bonds will be in the plane, and of course these 4 bonds will be in one plane. One bond is above the plane, another bond is below the plane. Therefore, geometry is octahedral. Why it is octahedral? Because in this particular geometry there are 8 faces. Look at this. Above the plane 4 faces, below the plane 4 faces. Look at this. Above the plane you can have 4 faces. Below the plane there are 4 faces. Totally 8 faces. Let me show you here. This is the model that I can use in order to understand the geometry here. Look at this. Here we have one plane of 4 ligands. Here this is what we call central metal ion is at the center of this plane. And this central metal ion here is attached to 4 ligands. Ligands are at the corners. 4 corners are there in this plane. One central metal ion is attached to 4 ligands, and remaining 2. One ligand is above the plane. Yes, one ligand is above the plane. This 4 ligands in one plane. One ligand is above the plane. another ligand is below the plane, total 6 ligands. And because of that, you can find here, this is, yes, it is 4 faces above the plane. Below there are 4 faces, totally 8 faces for this. It will be octahedral geometry. Yes. Apart from that, you see there here one more, that is here in this case central midline is attached to, yes, it is 4 ligands in a tetrahedral fashion, just like in the case of sp3 hybridized carbon atoms. And ligands are at the corners of the prism, and metal atom is at the center of the prism. That is tetrahedral. There 4 faces we have. This is tetrahedral geometry, and the coordination number is 4 here. For the coordination number 4, we have one more possible geometry, that is for this particular coordination number 4. One more possible geometry is square planar geometry. All the ligands present in one plane there. Yes, this is what we call, yes, it is square planar. If the coordination number is 5, look at this. Metal atom is attached to 5 ligands. Out of 5 ligands, 3 ligands are presented at the corners of the triangle. Look at this. This is the model that I make use of in order to understand this particular, yes, it is geometry there. This is central metal atom is there attached to the 3 ligands. 3 ligands are at the corners of the triangle. Above one ligand, above the plane 1 ligand, below the plane 1 ligand, total 5 ligands. And of course, this is trigonal bipyramidal. Actually, there are 2 pyramids. Above the plane 1 pyramid, below the plane 1 pyramid. Total 2 pyramids. That's why it is trigonal bipyramidal. This is square pyramidal. Here also the coordination number is 5. For the complexes with the coordination number 5, 2 possible geometries. One is trigonal bipyramidal. Another is square pyramidal. Yes, this is square planar. Central midline is attached to the 4 ligands. And that is through coordinate points. And if the metal atom is attached to one more ligand. One more ligand is attached to central midline. That will be above the plane. This is square, and of course there is a 1 pyramid. If the coordination number is 5, this is what we call square pyramid. It is. This is square pyramid, and that is, if the coordination number is 5, the another possible geometry is square pyramid. And of course these are the possible polyhedron for the complexes. Most common polyhedron for the complexes will be octahedral and tetrahedral polyhedron. These are the most common polyhedron in the case of complexes. So this is what we call it as, yes, it is polyhedron, coordination polyhedron. Yes. Now at this moment, we'll go to the one more important term as far as your coordination chemistry is concerned, that is homoleptic and heteroleptic complexes. That is another discussion, another term that you need to know. Yes. We'll see that. Homoleptic complexes, another it will be heteroleptic complexes. As the name itself indicates, homo means similar. If central metal ion in a complex is attached with same type of ligands, complexes in which central metal ion is attached to the only one kind of ligands, so they are called as, yes, it is homoleptic complexes. For example, if I say this is K4 Fe CN6, this is example for homoleptic complex, because all the ligands attached to the central metal ion will be same. All are cyanide ligands. All are similar ligands attached to the central metal ion. That's why it is homoleptic complex. And this is CO NH3 is 6 times, and it is Cl3. This is one more example for heterolytic complex. Don't think that ammonia and chlorine are different. No, you have to observe only ligand. This is not a ligand. Whatever we write outside the square bracket is an ionization sphere, is a counter ion. It's not a ligand. Observe the ligands. If the complex is characterized by one kind of ligands, if central metal ion is attached with one kind of ligand, then it will be homoleptic complexes. Apart from that, you can also give this as an example for homoleptic complexes. This is 4 similar ligands attached to the central metal atom. They are all examples for homoleptic complexes. Whereas in the case of heteroleptic complexes, in the case of heteroleptic complexes, central metal ion will be attached with different types of ligands. For example, this is one of the examples for heteroleptic complexes, that is PT NH3 2 times Cl2. This is heteroleptic complex where ammonia and chloride groups, different ligands attached to the central metal ion. This is one example. Apart from that, you can go for this CO NH3 4 times Cl2 there. And of course, this is plus. This is one more example for heteroleptic complexes where two different ligands are attached to the central metal ion. Yes. Apart from that, you can go for this also, that is CO NH3 2 times, H2O 2 times, and then it is NO2, yes, it is 2 times, and of course, look at this, all are monodentate ligands, and charge of this complex is +1. I already discussed how to decide the net charge possessed by the coordination sphere. And here there are, yes, it is all are monodentate ligands, 6 ligands are there, different ligands are attached to the central metal ion. Therefore, it is also an example for heteroleptic complex. So this is what we call it as the examples for homoleptic and heteroleptic complexes. Now at this moment, I am going to introduce one classification of complexes that is essential for nomenclature of coordination compounds. That particular aspect is essential for nomenclature of coordination compounds that we are going to discuss in the next video, right? That is, complexes can be classified into 3 types. That is, cationic complexes, anionic complexes, and of course, it will be, yes, it is neutral complexes. So this is one classification that is very essential for understanding nomenclature of the complexes. As far as cationic complexes are concerned, these are the complexes which produce positively charged coordination sphere. These are the complexes which produce positively charged coordination sphere. That is, for example, if I take this Cu NH3 4 times SO4, this is one complex. If it dissociates in water, it produces a Cu NH3 4 times and of course 2 plus. Then it is SO4 minus 2. This is the dissociation of cuproammonium sulfate. Upon dissociation, it produces cations and anions. But in this case, that coordination sphere is positively charged. The charge possessed by the coordination sphere is +2. Therefore, it is cationic complex. Athwa cationic complexes are the complexes which produce complex cation. This is complex cation. Positively charged complex ion. So they are called as cationic complexes. Apart from that, look at this CO NH3 6 times. So Cl3. One more example. When it dissociates, it produces CO NH3 6 times, and of course 3 plus 3Cl minus, right? This is another example for the cationic complex which produces positively charged coordination sphere or complex cation, and it is cationic complex. Apart from that, in the case of anionic complexes, the complexes which produce, yes, it is negatively charged complex ion, negatively charged coordination sphere. Look at this. If it dissociates, it produces 4K plus and, yes, it is Fe Cn 6 times and of course 4 minus. Look at this. Coordination sphere is characterized by negative charge and the complex is anionic complex. Or you can say K2 HgI4. One more complex there. Look at the coordination sphere. Yes, it dissociates to produce 2K plus and of course HgI4 and of course 2 minus. This is, yes, it is charge of this particular complex. Look at this. This dissociates to produce negatively charged complex ion, and this is also an example for anionic complexes. And whenever you are differentiating cationic and anionic complexes, just observe the formula of the cationic complex. If square bracket in the formula comes first, if the formula of the complex starts with a square bracket, definitely that is cationic complex. If the formula of the complex ends with square bracket, look at this, Your square bracket is written first, but here square bracket is written next, and it is amionic complex. Whereas in the case of neutral complexes, the charge possessed by the coordination sphere is 0. And we already gave some examples there, that is NiCO 4 times. This is an example for neutral complex because charge of nickel is 0, charge of carbon monoxide is also 0, net charge is 0. That is what we call neutral complex. Look at this one more example, platinum, and it is NH3 2 times and it is Cl2. This is also an example for neutral complex because charge of platinum is +2, ammonia is 0, chloride is -182, therefore +2 -2 cancel agate. The charge possessed by the complex is 0 here. So this is also an example for neutral complex. So that is the important terms in coordination chemistry. In the next video, we'll see nomenclature of coordination compounds by IUPAC system. Agboದಲ್ಲ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು ಅನ್ಕೋತೀನಿ. Thank you very much. Yes.